watching QTV Nightly News, coming to you live from our studios on Caraba Avenue with me, Ansmana Isonyase. Here's a recap for main headlines. The governor of the Central River region, along with senior security officials, visited the victims of the recent armed robbery in Balangar to show their support for the local community. During the adjournment session today at the National Assembly, members passed 4 significant bills aimed at advancing higher education and legal reforms in the Gambia. And as the Korita feast approaches, hundreds of people gather at the Banjul Barra Ferry crossing point to travel to the North Bank and join their families for the celebrations. Sources have confirmed to QTV that a major government national identity document systems and digital ID project has been awarded to Margins ID Group of Ghana following a bidding process. And the ECOWAS Permanent Mission in the Gambia, in partnership with the West African Network for Peace Building and other partners, organized a civil society dialogue on gender inclusion to foster democracy and good governance in the Gambia. The governor of the Central River region and the senior security officials have paid a visit to the victims of the recent armed robbery in Balangar. The visit was aimed at expressing solidarity with those affected by the violent incident. This report by Jibidem is narrated by Daniel Gomez.
On the evening of March 22, 2025, a gang of 5 armed robbers attacked 2 shops in Balangar shortly after Maghrib prayers, when many residents were at home breaking their fast. The assailants targeted businesses owned by a Mauritanian and a Gambian, firing gunshots to intimidate the community. Usman Ba, governor of CRR, underscored the importance of public policing, commending the people of Balangar for their bravery and swift response.
When the incident occurred, each of you took it upon yourselves to respond with bravery, and for that, we are truly grateful. No matter how many security forces we have, civilians will always outnumber them. This is why cooperation is essential in maintaining peace and stability.
Demba Jawara, CRR Police Commissioner, emphasized the need for effective communication between communities and security forces.
Please direct.
If you notice any suspicious individuals or unusual activity, please notify the security forces immediately. We will assess the situation and take appropriate action. Security is a shared responsibility.
Mulai C spoke on behalf of the Mauritanian community.
We are deeply grateful for the support extended to my fellow brothers during the incident. The assistance we received made us feel as though we were in Mauritania, reassuring us that the Gambia is truly a home away from home.
Katim Toure is one of the victims of the robbery.
I was resting after breaking my fast when I heard people shouting that the Mauritanians were fighting. But later, we realized that we were being attacked. Then I had 3 gunshots, and I had to hide since I had nothing to protect myself. My assistant was almost held at gunpoint, but he managed to escape.
Ganyinjai is an eyewitness to the incident.
I left my house and ran to the road to see what was happening. That's when I saw 3 people running, 2 with guns and 1 limping, carrying a bag. I shouted, "They are here! They are here!" One of them heard me and fired.
However, a local hunter bravely returned fire, injuring 2 of the robbers. One later succumbed to his injuries at the hospital, while the second was arrested the following morning and taken to Farafenni General Hospital before being transferred to the Edward Francis Small Teaching Hospital in Banjul for further treatment. The remaining 3 robbers managed to escape. As investigations continue, the Gambia Police Force has urged the public to remain vigilant and report any information that could assist in apprehending the remaining suspects. For QTV News, I am Daniel Gomez.
As the Korita feast approaches, hundreds of people gather at the Banjul Barra Ferry crossing point to travel to the North Bank and join their families for the celebrations. Loli M. Kamara visited the Banjul terminal and spoke with Abdoulaye Tambedu, the general manager of the Gambia Ferry Services. Here's the report.
With just a day or two left before Muslims celebrate the end of Ramadan, the busy crossing point is alive with activity as people mark their way to the North Bank for the festivities. Kunta Kinte is the only ferry currently operating with the capacity to carry up to 2,000 passengers without vehicles or up to 700 commuters and 27 cars. Abdoulaye Tambedu, General Manager of Gambia Ferry Services, provides an update on how operations are progressing.
What we have started this morning is that the ferry normally leaves by 6 a.m. every day, first ferry. But from today, this morning, we started going for the first ferry by 5 a.m. That allows us to have more passengers crossing and more trips, and ensure that the rush that normally happens for the first ferry at 6 o'clock is minimized as much as possible. But not only that, we have also started selling tickets. The selling of the tickets will start from midnight to 1 a.m. until 5 a.m. That allows the first ferry to be able to leave by 5 a.m. So all that is done to avoid crowd rushing and to improve on the crowd management in the terminal.
The security forces are also stationed at sea to ensure that safety procedures are strictly followed. Mr. Tambedu further explained.
See that there is a new chain that we have introduced here to ensure that people are not, when there is no ferry, you cannot access the lander. That we have done to avoid what happened in Barra last year when a bus fell into the sea because there was no chain, a barrier. We have asked the Inspector General of Police to support us with a good number of paramilitary officers, PIU. They are supporting us from the first ferry to the last ferry. We do it for every Tobaski, Korite, Magal and Gamo.
The Ferry Service General Manager provided an update on the status of the Kanilai ferry.
See that from that other side, the Kanilai is ready, is waiting for some spares which where we are expecting this weekend. On Sunday, the container should be here, and hopefully in the next 2 to 3 weeks, Kanilai would be operational. By end this year, another new ferry financed by the Africa Development Bank and the Gambia government, that would be arriving hopefully December 2025 this year, so that we have 3 ferries plying.
The GFS General Manager, while assuring commuters of their ongoing commitment to improve service delivery, discussed some of the challenges they are currently facing during this busy period.
A good number of people would see the ferry at times as a social service, so they would be reluctant to pay. That is one of our problems, so we are urging people to pay for the service, because if you do not pay for the service, you would not have enough revenues to be able to buy fuel, buy spare parts for the maintenance of the ferries.
Some commuters we spoke to highlighted that with only one ferry operating during this busy time, it will be challenging for the Gambia Ferry Service to fully meet the public's demand. However, the single ferry currently in operation is running smoothly for now. QTV News, Loli M. Kamara.
Now, during the adjournment session at the National Assembly, members passed 4 significant bills aimed at advancing higher education and legal reforms in the Gambia. The bills: National Research and Innovation Fund Bill, the Gambia Tertiary and Higher Education Trust Fund Bill, Criminal Offences Bill, and Criminal Procedure Bill successfully went through the consideration stage with amendments. Alusise reports.
The bills were tabled in Parliament by Professor Ferry Gomez, the Minister for Higher Education, Research, Science and Technology, and Dauda A. Jallo, the Attorney General and Minister for Justice. While the National Research and Innovation Fund Bill seeks to provide access to financing for research and innovation activities across all sectors, the Gambia Tertiary and Higher Education Trust Fund Bill seeks to expand access to educational programs and ensure sustainable financing for higher education institutions. On the other hand, the Criminal Offences Bill seeks to align the country's criminal justice system with current trends, while the Criminal Procedure Bill promises to expedite judicial process and improve the administration of justice for all. Here is Higher Education, Research, Science and Technology Minister Professor Ferry Gomez sharing his reactions.
We
we're very, very grateful. We want to thank His Excellency President Barrow, who gave us the marching orders to ensure that at the end of the day, we serve the university community in general and serve them well. And with that, the entire staff of the ministry, MOHAS, and also the National Assembly did very well by giving us their full support and their full blessing.
Following their passage, the National Assembly adjourned indefinitely, bringing an end to the first ordinary session of the 2025 legislative year. The adjournment debate was presided over by the Deputy Speaker, C.D. Njai, who reminded lawmakers of their role in advancing the development of the country.
The work we do here in this Harlow chamber is not just a matter of policy and legislation. It is a reflection of our commitment to the people we serve. It is about improving their lives, enhancing their opportunities, and safeguarding their rights. It is about striving for a more just and equitable society.
The long debate allowed lawmakers to acknowledge developments ushered by the government, but equally to highlight pressing issues affecting their constituents to seek possible solutions from authorities. From agriculture to energy, infrastructure, health, youth and sports development to women empowerment, high cost of living, water and security, lawmakers virtually delve into all issues that make up Gambia's development agenda.
The government, the opposition, and indeed every member of this August Assembly shared a collective duty to move the Gambia forward.
It's the coming of this government in 2017 to date, we started realizing actually what is electricity, what is good road infrastructure, and of course, increased access to water.
But my problem here is the Kayupa Road, the ongoing Kayupa Road construction work in Joshua. Yes, contracts are awarded. Work has started, but there must be proper supervision.
We can clear our roads without beating our women. We can clear our roads without threatening our people with guns. We can clear our roads without threatening our people on certain things.
We want to tell the Minister of Agriculture, the rice field in Sankulekunda was, for 3 years now, it is not working.
The session was also attended by the Vice President Mohamed B.S. Jallow and cabinet ministers who listened keenly to the issues raised by lawmakers for their possible action. Reporting for QTV News, I am Aliou Cisse.
And the report there by Aliou Cisse will lead us to the commercial break, but we will be right back.
The art of juggling is a true spectacle of agility, coordination, and speed. A symbol of progression, precision, and mastery. .5G speed is like having the juggler in your pocket. With lightning-fast download and upload speeds, you'll easily be able to juggle even the busiest workdays. Whether you're a busy entrepreneur, a creative, or just someone who wants to stay connected. Juggle your tasks with ease with QCell 5G speed. The future is here. It's fast, reliable, and efficient. First brought to you by QCell. We innovate, others follow.
Welcome back. Following the commercial break, be reminded that you're watching QTV Nightly News coming to you live from our studios on Caraba Avenue with me, Ansmana Isonyase. Now, sources have confirmed to QTV that a major government national identity document systems and digital ID project has been awarded to Margins ID Group of Ghana following a bidding process. QTV's Aliou Cisse takes a closer look at the bidding process and he now reports.
The National ID Card Document Systems and Digital ID Project contract is meant to overhaul the country's national identification system, a crucial initiative aimed at improving security. The invitation for bid document was officially launched under the Ministry of Interior in July and August 2024, with the project designated as an international competitive bidding initiative under a public-private partnership approach. Initially, the deadline for bid submissions was set for August 26, 2024, but it was subsequently extended to September 13, 2024. The bid opening, which took place at the Ministry of Finance and Economic Affairs, attracted 11 participating companies. However, according to our investigation, 2 companies, HSB and GGM Commodities, were disqualified due to insufficient documentation. On September 13th, only technical proposals were opened, while the financial proposals were presented to the remaining 9 companies a week later on September 20th, 2024. In compliance with best practices, an interagency evaluation committee was established to review and assess all 9 bid proposals. Following the evaluation, 3 companies emerged as frontrunners: KMF JSA Digital, ZIP Synedise Technologies, and Margins ID Group of Ghana. In November 2024, due diligence visits were conducted by a 15-member interagency committee from November 11 to November 13, led by top government officials: Julde Cisse, Deputy Permanent Secretary, Minister of Finance; Abraham K. Mendy, Deputy Permanent Secretary, Minister of Interior; and Amadou Nyang, Deputy Permanent Secretary, Office of the President. The visit started with inspection of KMF DSA Digital's production facilities in Freetown. This was followed by assessments of Margins ID Group operations in Accra from November 14 to November 16, and concluded with visits to the extensive facilities of ZIP Synedise Technologies in Abidjan from November 18 to November 19. Insider sources revealed that ZIP Synedise Technologies exhibited strong performance, particularly due to their thorough adoption and implementation of modular open source identity platform standards that enhance scalability, accessibility, and seamless integration with different application programming interfaces. On the other hand, Margins ID Group, founded in 1990 and incorporated in 1998, has a long-standing reputation in identity solutions, secure card manufacturing, and digitization. For over 3 weeks, repeated attempts to obtain an official statement from the Ministry of Interior have been met with complete silence regarding one of the country's most crucial digital transformation projects. As many are questioning whether the contract has been awarded to the best bidder, QTV will continue to engage officials from the Ministry of Interior to shed light on the matter. Reporting for QTV News, I am Aliou Cisse.
Now, the ECOWAS Permanent Mission in the Gambia, in collaboration with the West African Network for Peace Building and the Association of Non-Governmental Organizations, organized a civil society dialogue on gender inclusion. This event is part of rather ongoing efforts to promote democracy and good governance in the Gambia. Mam Nabu was there and seen our reports.
The event brought together a diverse group of stakeholders, including non-governmental organizations, civil society organizations, and women's rights advocates, united in their commitment to fostering an inclusive political environment. This dialogue aims to bring about solutions to increase women's political participation by highlighting the critical role that gender inclusion can play in enhancing democratic processes in the Gambia. It prioritizes the importance of placing women in positions of power where the interests of their counterparts will be rightfully represented. Here is Ami Toure, the gender focal person at Tango.
We see last year, when the parliamentarians said that they want to repeal the FGM law, it was men that wanted to decide on what to happen with the women, us, our bodies. But then when we have the high majority of women in the parliament, then so many issues that have emerged last year will not have a.
Strategies to boost women's political involvement were discussed, including mentorship, capacity building, and advocacy campaigns to raise awareness of political rights. Participants also emphasized improving girls' education and implementing legal frameworks to support women's rights and ensure their participation in decision-making. This is Miata Lily French, the ECOWAS representative in the Gambia.
As we build societies, we cannot build and leave the women behind. Political participation is just one arm of it, but it is a very important arm because it is politics that determines policy. And if we are not around the table as women, when the policies are determined, then we are losing out a lot.
During deliberations, presenters Salam Manjai from WANEP and Yadiko Njai Eribo, chairperson of Tango, discussed the barriers hindering women from engaging in politics and decision-making processes, including gender stereotypes, gender-based violence, cultural stereotypes, inadequate mentors, and financial difficulties. They emphasized the need for policies and actions that promote equal representation, underscoring that empowering women is not only a matter of social justice, but also essential for sustainable development and effective governance. Miata Lily French and Ami Toure elaborate again.
The first female president in the entire Africa, elected president, was Madam Johnson Sirleaf, and she was from West Africa, not very far, from Liberia. So it is not an impossibility for Gambian women to do the same. So let's keep talking. Let's keep talking to those around us, because maybe you are not interested in politics, but maybe you know somebody who is, or maybe you know somebody who you think might make a good politician, but hasn't thought about it. So it's a question of advocacy. It's a question of reaching out. It's a question of ensuring that we get to the level where we need to be.
We will make sure that we lobby, we do our advocacy to make sure that women are well represented in the National Assembly. Not only in the National Assembly, but then we also want to see women being represented at all levels, even in the councillors and also in the local government.
The ECOWAS Permanent Mission in the Gambia reiterated its commitment to supporting the country's democracy, pledging to continue facilitating dialogues and partnerships that empower marginalized groups for a more inclusive society. Mamna Buka, reporting for QTV News.
Now, as Muslims prepare for Eid al-Fitr, marking the end of Ramadan, we spoke with some business owners and a customer to get insights on how business is faring. Demba Waiba visited the bustling Serekunda market and brings us this report.
Eid al-Fitr, locally known as Korite, is a religious holiday celebrated by Muslims to mark the end of the holy month of Ramadan. During this time, many businesses, particularly tailors, hair salons, market vendors, experience a significant boost in income. Abiture is a hairdresser in Serekunda.
We do only hair treatment, natural hair treatment.
We specialize in natural hair treatments. If your hair is dry, visit us, and with our effective treatment method and quality products, we can repair damaged hair. Despite our busy schedule, we always make time to care for and attend to all our customers because we take pride in what we do.
During this period, many customers flock to the market in search of new arrivals, such as clothing, jewelry, shoes, and more. We visited a clothing shop that specializes in fabrics like borode, gesner, and basang. While customers are eager to buy the best quality fabrics, the high prices remain a concern. Dembo Njai, a shopkeeper in Serekunda, shares his perspective.
Anyway, that people, especially women, are complaining that there's no money in towns. You know, anyway, that we face a lot of difficulties, especially this Ramadan.
These fabrics are often taken to tailoring shops for the latest designs. To meet the customers' demand for trendy fashion styles, tailors sometimes work through sleepless nights to ensure timely delivery. Bashiruba, a tailor in Bakote, shares his experience.
Our male customers prefer garambub and haftan designs, while women typically choose borode fabric in a variety of styles. Thank God this year, the electricity has been stable, and we haven't experienced power shortages that used to delay our work.
Both Alaji Job and Sidinjai tailors also mentioned that this year they have high expectations of meeting their customers' needs on time due to the stability of electricity, acknowledging the challenges they used to face in the past. As Korite approaches, Muslims across the country eagerly anticipate celebrating the feast in peace with family and friends, enjoying delicious foods while children go around seeking salibo or gifts from neighbors. Demba Waiba, QTV News.
And I'm afraid that report by Demba Waiba brings to an end this bulletin. But before we take a leave of you, here's a recap for main headlines. The governor of the Central River region, along with senior security officials, visited the victims of the recent armed robbery in Balangar to show their support for the local community. During the adjournment session today at the National Assembly, members passed 4 significant bills aimed at advancing higher education and legal reforms in the Gambia. And as the Korite feast approaches, hundreds of people gather at the Banjul Bara Ferry crossing point to travel to the North Bank and join their families for the celebrations. Now, sources have confirmed to QTV that a major government national identity document systems and digital ID project has been awarded to Margins ID Group of Ghana following a bidding process. And the ECOWAS permanent mission in the Gambia, in partnership with the West African Network for Peace Building and other partners, organized a civil society dialogue on gender inclusion to foster democracy and good governance in the Gambia. That's all for now. Do join us tomorrow, same time for more news. Until then, thanks for watching.